And this is a Republic TV exclusive. For the first time this year, I am being joined by our senior news editor and top-notch investigative journalist Shravan Sen of Republic TV, who has been traveling across the globe and investigating this. Over to you, Shravan, and how Republic TV is now exposing these anti-India forces.
Ladies and gentlemen, since the launch of Republic TV, we have been on the forefront of exposing anti-India forces. In the last few months, we have witnessed a pattern. From meeting Hafiz Saeed to declaring their open support for him, from attacking political leaders with the support of the ISI to openly carrying out anti-India campaigns in US and UK, Khalistani forces have been regrouping and getting active. So we decided to investigate, and our investigation took us to London. I tracked down, infiltrated and stung fronts for Khalistani terror groups there. I stung 3 key players of the Khalistani terror movement. What they revealed exposes a sinister plot, an evil plan and the real threat from the enemies of the nation. Here's an exclusive investigation report from London.
For a secessionist movement, we want India to break up. We want the Naxals to have freedom, Dravidistan to be free. We want the Maoists to be free, because our enemy is the same. Our enemy is Delhi. Our enemy is the Brahmins in Delhi. It's Brahmanism as an ideology. It's the enemy of all the peoples of India, except for the Brahmins, of course, because they enjoy the benefit of that. But it's complete. It's a unification of our goals. All of our goals are aligned. We want Delhi to fall. We want that.
In December 2015, dreaded Khalistani terrorist Paramjit Singh Pamma of the Khalistan Liberation Force is arrested in Portugal by the Interpol. Pamma, who's one of the most dangerous Khalistani terrorists, faces charges of murder and bombing in India and has a whole army of funders and lawyers backing him. Their clout ensures he gets away.
Republic TV did a week-long investigation into the operations of the Khalistani movement here in Britain. We managed to infiltrate the top echelon of the Khalistani movement, and what emerged from the investigation was really shocking, to say the least.
What would you like? Oh, it's Republic TV. Yeah? I haven't heard.
And now in London, he's regrouping his forces. He meets me for an introduction and doesn't know he's being recorded. He reveals his global plan and the support Khalistanis are getting from China.
My understanding is that you have a great understanding with the United States of America. You have a great understanding with Britain, because Britain allows you to voice your opinion and perhaps carry out the activities that you are. And also, for that matter, China. China is something where you have an active Khalistani office, engaging with the Communist Party of China at that point in time. There is a direct interaction which is with China. So if you really look at that kind of engagement, do you think that this is the strategy and this is the good response perhaps you're getting when you're engaging with several countries like this?
That is nothing. Few things, all I can say that yes, we have got very good response, and we did a very good approach with the legal ways, and the response is unbelievable.
In 1985, Babbar Khalsa terrorists killed 329 people when they bombed Air India Flight 182, the Kanishka bombing. 33 years later, Shamsher Singh, last in the news for barging into a Rahul Gandhi event in London, is a key link for both the Babbar Khalsa and the Dal Khalsa. His National Sikh Youth Federation has just one target:
the armed struggle is the only way. Investing in armed struggle and destabilizing in India with, you know, how they've been operating for the last 30 years, assassinating Indian government officials, attacking military bases, attacking police officers and, you know, soldiers, and, you know, the Khalistanis have a hit list somewhere of all these, you know, people running around like Saini and Alam and like all these black cats and these police officers that escaped so many commissions.
On paper, the Babbar Khalsa is a terrorist group in the United Kingdom. But in reality, the British government doesn't really care. It takes a change of name to get away.
The biggest actions of the movements, we've killed 2,700 police officers. Of various rank. We've killed the Prime Minister, the Chief Minister, generals of the army. These are all targeted killings.
Some of the claims of the Khalistani terrorists are shocking. Republic isn't taking them at face value, but they deserve an investigation. Like the claims made by the once banned Dal Khalsa about backing the Aam Aadmi Party in the Punjab elections they lost.
Look in Punjab, Aam Aadmi Party won the election. They won 95 seats. We were there campaigning on the floor, funding Aam Aadmi Party's campaign to see what a campaign makes a difference. It does make a difference. People voted for Aam Aadmi Party throughout, but the problem is the votes were manipulated through the electronic.
Despite the Khalistani support to the Aam Aadmi Party, they didn't win it primarily because of the
electronic. Yeah. Aam Aadmi Party is nothing. It's a vessel. It means nothing. It stands for nothing.
So then why would you then support them?
The thing was, you know what it was? To counter the two sect political forces in Punjab. We wanted to upset them and see how it happens.
In August this year, Akali Dal leader Manjeet Singh GK was attacked twice in the USA. When Hafiz Saeed's right-hand man praised the attack, the Pakistan link was there for all to see. One week earlier, Navjot Singh Sidhu had hugged the Pakistan Army chief. For Sidhu and his supporters, this is the reality.
Pakistan is an ally, and Pakistan hasn't committed genocide against X. Pakistan recognizes Khalistan as a legitimate nation. So
it's a natural ally, you would say?
Yeah, 100%.
The biggest support, the terrorists say, is now coming from China. A mercenary confluence of interests they flaunt proudly.
For example, China. Our offices in China, in Beijing. The core political ideas of those offices in Beijing is to keep on going at the Communist Party. That you can do what you like. You want to take over Sikkim? You can take over Sikkim. We will provide you internationally.
Excuse me again. You know what is animals?
So their main idea is
You're talking about the Communist Party in China.
Is to sell this idea to them that you're welcome. We will justify you internationally.
And what sort of support are you willing to take?
We will go on the streets and say China is good, India is bad. In every single country outside India. And if China takes over Sikkim, that's our job done.
In October 2017, RSS leader Ravinder Gosain was shot dead in Ludhiana by the Khalistan Liberation Force. On 6th August 2016, RSS Punjab Vice President Brigadier Jagdish Gagneja was killed in Jalandhar. All targeted killings planned in detail from London.
So even now, like what's been happening for the last 2.5 years with the KLF and targeting RSS leaders in India, it's the same thing. So the level of violence hasn't increased or decreased. Other leaders of Punjab's RSS, the Hindu Takat, they've been shot in the streets of Punjab. by motorcycle-borne assailants. It's happening now. This is the reality.
You believe they were part of the movement?
Yeah, Khalistani Liberation Forces openly accepted that these guys were killed by Khalistani Liberation Force.
You see, Modi wins next year. We are worried that the RSS and the Sankarwad will go on a crazy throughout India. That's one of the concerns we got. We will not like that to happen.
And how will you stop that?
We can't stop that. That's something we can't do.
For some sections that delude themselves, the idea of a Tukde gang aimed at breaking India is fictional. For these Khalistani terrorists, it's at their core. Breaking India and linking with every other group that does.
The change of policy that you're talking about.
Yeah.
Can you define when you say change of policy? What would that
Change of
essentially-
policy is rather than doing everything ourselves, we let others finance them, fund them, Kashmiris, this, the Maoists, everybody. Our people have links with every single state in India, every single movement in India. They're funding them directly, first hand, from one mean or another. We are in every single.
But how would it ever help you? Because, say for instance, if you're talking about a funding given
Okay.
to the Kashmiri separatist group,
I'll explain
or
this
a
to you.
thing, how does it help you? They will never support you.
What do you mean they will never support?
Like, how would they support you? How does it help them? Like, in the sense, like, there's no logic. Like, say for instance, I'm just from a very pure layman point.
Enemy is your friend, firstly. That is the simple thing. And secondly, when the union does smash into pieces, we will need to form a political coalition with the rest anyway.
What emerges from this in-depth investigation is that the Khalistani leadership is up in arms to create unrest in India by spreading a false narrative that minorities in India are being persecuted. They're also trying to convince the international community to build pressure on India. What we've also learned from this entire investigation is that the Khalistani leadership is no longer confining their meetings with the Pakistani establishment, but with that of China, Saudi Arabia and Iran. And it doesn't end here. They're also admitting that they are openly funding and supporting anti-India forces like the Maoists as well as Kashmiri separatists. In London, this is Shavan Sen for Republic TV.